But I will say this much. It's probably fantastic.
Shaking.
It's probably fantastic and really good that
Everything's shaking. Is that an
not only do we have not only have we defunded, not only have we defunded the NWS and NOAA, so we can't really figure out the flight path as well as we used to for all of these things. Okay. Not only have we done that on the one hand, on the other hand, you know, it's good that all the housing is deregulated anyway. So what's the expectation here? Oh, also we're working on dissolving FEMA too. And when you do that, that's the triple Monty.
Now to the
like you can't figure out where the tornadoes hit. On the one hand, we're pumping that big beautiful oil and that big beautiful clean coal, right? We're pumping it as hard as we possibly can. So that's good. And that's obviously accelerating anthropogenic climate change, right? Carbon emissions are a significant factor in the world, both cooling and also simultaneously getting hotter. And that is changing weather patterns. It's making things erratic, right? We got clean oil, clean coal, clean all the way. But then we're also defunding the aspects that are supposed to be warnings, right? Like, because those guys are gay and woke. The scientists themselves turn around and say gay and woke things like, hey, maybe we should limit our carbon emissions. Like, maybe we shouldn't be doing the stuff that we're doing because it feels like the world is the climate is changing at an alarming rate in a way that will make it uninhabitable in like the next 20 to 30 years. And then you're like, nah, that's gay. That's woke. What are you, a scientist? Ew, yuck, Pol Pot style. Everyone that wears glasses is getting into the kill pile. So we kick those guys out. We defund those programs. So like, if you don't know a tornado is supposed to hit, then it's like, it might as well be as though the tornado never hit at all, right? And then on top of that, once the tornado does hit and people did not get the prior, they did not know what to do in advance, then what's supposed to happen is FEMA's supposed to come in, right? Emergency management and disaster response from the federal government. But we defunded that too. So that's also woke and gay. So that's gone too. It's great. Based and red pilled, no more gay shit, you know? If you die in a tornado, maybe you deserved it. That kind of thing is what's going on with the current government and the way that the government operates. Fantastic. Yeah, Ryan's video on this, the next 4 days are going to be very, very rough. The severe weather outbreak is just beginning, says Ryan Hall.
It's Saturday, May 17th, 2025, and we've got a ton of weather to talk about today, man. We've got an outbreak sequence on the way. There's going to be multiple days of more severe weather, and I just wanted to make this video to keep you updated on what's going on because I don't think we're going to have a lot of time to make videos over the next few days because we're just going to be live all the time, and I know a lot of y'all really depend on these short-form videos to kind of get all the information in one area, so let's roll through this.
He's a little bit of a clickbaiter. Hey, Ryan Hall is a Twitter moot and also is on the right side automatically because he partially as a consequence of his job as like the weather guy online and also because he has a fucking brain. He automatically is on the side of, hey, let's not underfund the NWS, the National Weather Service, nor NOAA. Kind of seems like a bad idea. So that's all it takes for me. Okay. Maybe I'm crazy, but for me, all it takes for me is to hear someone say the words, let's not defund these federal programs, you know?
But real quick, before we dive into the details of the forecast, let's recap what's happened yesterday. We had a major tornado outbreak. We were live for 13 hours covering this crazy system that spawned tornadoes in Illinois. There was one that went through St. Louis. Look at this thing. You could see it through the arch camera there in St. Louis. It just about went through downtown, caused a ton of damage out there across St. Louis, and we were live for that. We were also live for this tornado. It went through Linton, Indiana, Sullivan County, Indiana. There was another big one and over towards Marion, Illinois, and unfortunately this led to a lot of damage. And the last I heard is we're getting close to 25, maybe 30 fatalities reported as a result of this tornado outbreak, and the number's still going up because search and rescue is still going on in a lot of these places, and we've got a lot of injury reports, and of course, unfortunately, there are hundreds of people today that are homeless as a result of yesterday's unfortunate tornado outbreak. Now, Colin Gross on Twitter put together this graphic here that shows one of our most prolific storms yesterday actually was a supercell that traveled for about 500 miles from the middle of Missouri all the way over into eastern Kentucky. This is the one that is responsible for most of our fatalities, actually. A lot of those came from London, Kentucky, and Somerset, Kentucky, between Wayne, Pulaski, and Laurel counties. This is over here close to the weather house. We were live last night as this thing was ripping up communities out here, and unfortunately, this is one of the places where they're still doing search and rescue right now. We don't know what the overall death toll is going to be, unfortunately, because the damage is so prolific out here. Now, this wasn't producing a tornado the entire time, but it produced several tornadoes, and it's just unbelievable that this thing traveled that far. And it was strong. We don't know the rating yet. In my opinion, it's probably going to be rated an EF4. Who knows? You know, there's engineers and stuff out there trying to figure it out right now. But this thing ate a literal path through the forest between London and Somerset. Look at this. You could actually see it on satellite this morning. You can see the scar on the earth. This is Somerset, this is London, and this is the path that it tore in between those two areas. Now, of course, it also hit Somerset and London, both on the southern side. These pictures here are from Deputy Alan Turner in Laurel County, Kentucky, and it's just so unfortunate seeing this. This isn't even the worst of it. I've seen some really crazy looking damage photos from WX Chasing on YouTube. If you want to look up that video, it really puts into perspective how bad it was, especially around London, Kentucky. And once again, y'all, you can look at this and you can just tell that unfortunately the number of injured and the number of people that we've lost is going to continue to go up. Even though we had a lot of people watching from this area last night, and we did have tornado warnings and all that stuff, there's only so much you can do whenever the tornadoes are this strong. A tornado of this caliber is not common in this part of the world. A lot of people just didn't know what to do. The London Corbin Airport was also hit here, and they lost their medical helicopters, and there's a lot of homes and a lot of residential areas around that airport that were unfortunately completely obliterated as well. So once again, it was a crazy outbreak. Unfortunately, it happened, and now we've got to work on getting everything.
Watch Hasan to not get nervous about the weather. Hasan watches weather stream. I mean, a little bit. We got to take a look at what's going on. You know what I mean?
Everybody back on their feet, which is what I'm going to be focused on over the next couple of days, while also continuing to relay information about new severe weather outbreaks that are about to happen. So our hands are kind of full over here at the weather house, but we're able to give back and we're able to help people because of you. Last night, a lot of you beautiful people went over to the y'allsquad.org and you were very generous. You hit this donate button and we raised about $80,000 from y'all in a very short period of time. I went in there and I stacked another $10,000 on top of that, so we've got 90 grand to go out into these communities and immediately get assistance going. We're talking with local officials, we're seeing what people need, and we're just going to do whatever makes sense as we feel it out. We don't have a complete plan yet, but what's going to help is more resources, right? You're not required to do it. We're not asking anybody to donate, but if you've got an extra dollar or two, whatever you've got, consider going.
FEMA is ready and well funded. Yeah, no. We should actually underfund it. We should actually take away more of the funds from FEMA because FEMA is gay and woke, obviously. This is anyway, look, let's do some of the aftermath impact here. Here it is.
Outbreak in our nation's heartland, scenes of destruction across multiple states, the death toll climbing as many of the hardest hit areas could face another round of dangerous weather. ABC's Alex Stone is in London, Kentucky with more. Alex, good morning.
Wait, good morning to you. There is just so much devastation here. It is like this, mile after mile, neighborhood after neighborhood, families cleaning up, and the number killed continues to rise.
This morning,
What is this? I don't know who's saying, yeah, they deserved it, but that's something that I rail against quite frequently. Like, nobody fucking deserves to have this kind of death and destruction, to experience this kind of impact just because they live in a red state. I'm just making fun of like the government and their inability to deal with these things. Obviously, it's always my efforts are always to reprioritize and reshift people's focus to who's actually responsible for the limited recovery that these people are going to experience.
Communities left reeling after deadly tornadoes and storms ripped through the Midwest, claiming at least 27 lives. In Kentucky, neighborhoods in ruin. I
mean, people did that after California wildfires too. Like, I know there's a lot of leopards eating faces shit going on social media right now. It's incredibly depressing because St. Louis is one of the bluest metros in the country. Not that it matters. Yeah, it's also one of the poorest places too. Like, liberals just fucking forget. Liberals don't understand in many circumstances. First of all, liberals forget that, like, just because you voted for Donald Trump doesn't mean you should die. Okay, that's number one. Number two, a lot of these places, especially in the deep south, these deep red states, for example, still have a bunch of Democrats that vote anyway. Democrats that vote for the Democratic Party anyway. And not only that, but the other part of this is that that people don't realize is that, like, where do you think all the black people live, dude? Like, that's crazy. Liberals try to be woke. But then, like, don't realize that half the time when they're shitting on the South, they're shitting on some of the poorest areas of the South where black people have historically lived. Okay? That's it. Not that even matters, obviously. I'm saying that, like, it doesn't matter if someone is, like, black or white or voted for a Republican. I don't think anybody should have to suffer like this, you know?
Rows of houses gone, roofs ripped off homes, cars shattered. Search and rescue teams combing through the wreckage, hoping to find survivors. Across the state, 18 people now confirmed dead.
We're going to need a lot of help. We're going to need a lot of funding. We're going to need a lot of cooperation.
Rescuers say many who lost their lives lived in these London neighborhoods. 8-year-old Ellie tells me it was the scariest few minutes of her young life.
I watched Homie Spumoni on stream last night and OG's in my chest snitched. You watched it 5 years ago. I'm telling ass man, Homie Spumoni. Did we watch it? I feel like I forgot it existed. We probably watched it.
Disintegrated around them.
Everything was just
we used to do more fun stuff.
It was one of the worst sounds.
Her mom, Kendra, injured with a broken foot and bruises from falling.
What do you think of the amount of negative attention content creators are pumping at you on Twitter and the double standards on you addressing anything? The double standards on me addressing anything? What do you mean? I address everything, perhaps far too much, and it invites more negative attention. Who cares?
Bree held on to her babies to keep them alive.
And I can remember Jordan saying, God, please protect my babies. Please keep my babies safe.
Residents here have lost so much, like Carol Wells. The home she lived in for 50 years destroyed. But she says she feels lucky to be alive.
I'm just glad that God let us live another day.
And in Missouri, at least 7 people dead. This neighborhood destroyed after a tornado tore through. And in St. Louis, where 5 of those lives were taken, crews are working around.
Not sure if you mentioned this already. While watching live coverage of this event, one of these major tornadoes had a late tornado warning because a particular national weather station was short-staffed because of Doge cuts. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just like these guys are basically making America uninhabitable. I don't know if that happened in this instance, but the likelihood of that happening in the future is fairly high. It's the same principle for air traffic control. People are like, oh, what we got to do is cut air traffic control. It's too costly. Meanwhile, you're making it harder for planes to, you're making it harder for commerce to exist. You're making it harder for plane travel to happen. Like, it's not even soft eugenics. It's just, I don't even think it's like deliberately the government trying to kill poor people. I think that's just baked into capitalism, where poor people, no matter what, have the short end, get the short end of the stick, right? It's not by design where they're like, oh, just kill the poor people. Who cares? Like, it's more so we just have to make these cuts because of our endless profit seeking, our interest in endless profit seeking. And of course, the people that suffer the most in this process will always be the people that suffer the most will always be the poorest people.
Around the clock to clear debris. This massive tree uprooted from the ground. This man running for cover after it fell over his pool deck, narrowly missing him. Over in Illinois, the devastation sprawling there too. Residents beginning the painstaking process of picking up the pieces. And incredibly, guys, this home right here came from across the street. It landed where it is now. The family's possessions all over, refrigerators, countertops, toys. And we're told this family, neighbors tell us, they got out safely. Gio.
All right, Alex.
I think it's kind of devastating that there's no confidence in the government. Like, no one even thinks the government is supposed to be helping them in this process, which is crazy. I don't think there's any equivalence in any other country, no matter how rich or poor. Like maybe Somalia or something, like a super decentralized form of governance, like that's constantly engaging in like civil war or something, or like Libya, like places that have been devastated by Western intervention for the most part. But like when you look at nation states, no matter how rich or poor, there's this expectation that like the government is trying to do its best, you know, no matter how corrupt, no matter how awful, like they're going to come and they're going to help you out. In America, there is no expectation. It's crazy. What are we doing?